Yo, welcome back to the Genuine Care Podcast 216. You already know how we start. Start off by thanking God for all He has done for me and what He will continue to do for me, but not only me, my family, my friends, and even those I do not know. Y'all, welcome back to the Genuine Care Podcast 216. Title of this episode is going to be Let Go and Let God. In Ephesians chapter 3 verse 20, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, it says, let go and let God have His way in your life, and He will bless you exceedingly abundantly above all that you can ask or think. Let that sink in for a second. Let go and let God. And I believe that's easier said than done. I'm currently still living that. Letting go and let God have His way. You know, it's hard. It's hard because we have so many different things in our life that is going on. We got struggles. We got problems. We got situations. We in pain. Whatever we're going through, it's hard to let go. It's hard to let go and let God because for many of us, we're fighting in the flesh. We're fighting. We're fighting to go to work, or a situation at work, or a situation at school, or a situation with our mothers, or a situation with our fathers. We are going through some type of battle. And in the mix of that battle, it's hard. It's hard to just say, God, have your way. I'm going to give it to you. It's hard for many of us just to give it to Him and just let go of our fleshly ways. It's hard. I'm here to tell you that. It's hard. Because in the flesh, we're used to just fighting. Come on. I know somebody, we're used to fighting. We're used to doing everything that our mind tells us to do. So when we are in a position where we feel like we have to fight, we're going to fight. If we're in a position that we feel like we got to defend ourselves, we're going to defend ourselves. If we're in a situation where we got to survive, we are going to survive. By all means, we're going to do that. But also, in the mix of that, it's hard to just let God have His way and walk away. We look at problems and situations. We pray about it, many of us do, but we don't fully give it to God. We say we do, and we might even think that we do. But when you give it to God, you let Him have His way, and you just step away. And I'm still struggling with that. Let it go. If you believe in God in all your heart, just let it go. But it's hard. Because life tells us one thing, our flesh, wherever how you want to see it, but God tells us another thing. And I'm here to tell you, it's hard. And we have to do whatever we have to, but it's hard. But the reason why it's hard is this. When you're struggling and you're in a situation, somebody listening to this is in a situation, somebody's in there listening to this probably was sleeping on the couch, or somebody's listening to this ain't got nowhere to go, or they might be homeless, or they might be in a difficult situation, they might be drinking, whatever it is, they might be struggling with something. And in the mix of that, we ain't trying to let it go. We try to handle it on ourselves. We try to, as much as we can, handle it by ourselves. And I'm here to tell you that the more and more you try to do it by yourself, the more and more harder it's going to be. I'm telling you. Because a lot of times, many of us are fighting battles that we can't even fight. That we can't do it alone. We can't do it alone without God. We can't do it alone. But we think that we can. And then we struggle. Or we get frustrated. Or mad. Or whatever emotion we're feeling at the time is not a happy one. It's not. Because we're just fighting and fighting and fighting. And we're tired. We're exhausted. We are exhausted. We take 10 steps forward, get knocked 5 steps back, or sometimes 10 steps back. And we just keep trying and trying and trying to do the right thing. And it doesn't seem like it's working. Because let's just keep it 100. A lot of people don't be trying to hear all that. We like, bro, we struggling. We ain't trying to hear about God right now. We ain't trying to hear that. We ain't trying to hear God gonna come and he gonna... And when you're in the midst of going through all that, just keep it real. We ain't trying to hear it. We ain't trying to hear it. Because in the mix of it, we need help right now. Not tomorrow, not Friday, not Saturday. In the mix of it, we need help right now. Where are you, God? That's what many of us think. Me too. Where are you? I ain't got no water. Or I ain't got no shoes, or I can barely pay my bills, or whatever somebody's situation is. Where are you, God? That's what we thinking. That's what we thinking. I'm going to speak for you. I know what y'all think. Where are you, God? I don't know what to do. I just lost my mom. I just lost my father. I just lost my brother. And you telling me just to let go and let God? I'm sorry, God. I love you, but I don't know. That's what we're thinking. That's what's going through so many of our minds. Like, why do I have to endure all of this? Why? Just why do I have to endure all this? And we don't know. I think that a lot of times, God is using us to tell a story. Our own story. And is going to be able to help and inspire other people. I said this in the last episode. I remember talking to somebody. They said, I don't know how I got through that. I'd be lying if I told you how I did. I just don't know. By the grace of God. We just got to take it one day at a time. With all our might. Each day, it will get better. It will get easier. But that's not to say that it is not hard. It is so hard. Because everything that we see is a part of our reality. You may see a single mom walking down the street with her baby. That's a part of your reality because you know what? You may be a single mom. You might see a woman. She might be divorced or whatever her situation is. That's part of your reality because you may have been divorced before. And you know how that feels. That's part of your reality because you know how it feels. Or you may be married and you might be going through situations or a struggle and you see somebody else going through it, not knowing that either you've been there or you're currently going through it. That's part of your reality. Like, damn, I'm going through that exact same thing. But the only thing about it is the person that you're looking at, they've overcame it or they're trying to overcome it. But you're in the midst of it and you're struggling. Whatever the situation is, marriage, financially, whatever situation, I'm just giving examples in your life. Somebody right now has let go and let God right now. And they're living proof of it. You just don't know. You don't know their story. You don't know what they've been through or what battle that they're fighting. You just see them for who they are. But not knowing that if you get to talking to them, they got a story. And maybe their story can help you. And that's what I honestly think letting go and letting God's about. To let him have his way and let him direct your path. And whatever it is, it will get easier. You just have to put yourself in the right situations and around the right group of people. And just keep the faith. Everybody's journey with God is different. Everybody's belief is different. Everybody feels how they feel. And that's okay. That's cool. But when you're going through that journey, take God along the way. Because you know he won't leave you or forsake you. Let me tell you a story real quick. I remember my grandmother, one of the most strongest women that I know. My grandmother was healthy all her life, but towards the end of her life, she was always a smoker, but she was diagnosed with diabetes. And I remember she had to get her toes amputated on her right side, so she had no toes. Right? And I remember saying this on another episode, but I want to say it again. And I remember just seeing that, and I didn't know how my grandmother was going to respond to that. Didn't know. I know she didn't go to church, but I do know that my grandmother believed in God. Not her own personal journey or her relationship with God was her relationship. We never talked about God together. But I do know she believed. She was a believer. Right? And I just remember just seeing her day by day get better. And she went from having 5 toes to no toes. And she got up when she was healthy enough and went to work every day. And when I saw that, I was thinking, like, how does she got life left? How? Her balance wasn't as good. Her feet didn't look the same. But I believe in my heart that she let go and let God have his way, and she began to pick herself back up. Because my grandmother was depressed for a little bit. But she began to pick herself back up and go to work every day. Even in the midst of that, when many of us would have gave up, or many of us would have been like, threw the towel in, she was like, all right, I'm going to keep pushing. How do you push like that? And you got to give some credit to God. I believe that was God. But in the flesh, we see, like, she did it. But he gave her strength. He gave her the ability to fight after her situation. I never forget that. Strong woman. Good example. Worked every day until her demise. Didn't want to miss a day of work. She had perfect attendance. She didn't miss work. And one thing, she didn't miss work. She was a worker. That's one thing I remember about her. She was a worker. And I saw her every day in the morning go to work and take care of her business. Did she have problems? She did. But no matter her circumstances, she never gave up. And I saw that. And I'm sharing that because that's how she was. And I believe in my heart and my soul that God gave her the strength to get through that. Because like I said, many of us would have given up. Could you imagine having toes all your life and then at one point all of them get amputated? Your balance is not the same. Your situation is not the same. How would you respond? If it ain't the grace of God that's got her through that, I don't know what it is. And God, I want to say thank you for getting my grandmother to do that. Let go and let God. All battles you can't fight. All battles can't be won. But if you let go and you give it to God, I believe that He can fight your battles. I believe that He can handle it for you. I believe that. But as long as you keep fighting and keep fighting, you're going to just end up frustrated. You're just going to end up mad, wondering what is going on. And faith without works is dead. So even though you do all that, you got to put in the work. You got to seek help if you need it. You got to go to a therapist if you need it. You got to go to the doctor if you need it. You got to put in the work. You can't just say, oh, I got faith. You got to put in the work. Put in the work. Day by day. Baby steps. One step at a time. One step at a time. It will get easier. Trust me, it will get easier. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And it can't rain forever. It cannot rain forever. You just have to know that. And believe that. You got to say it with your mouth and believe it in your heart. That no matter what your circumstances, that is not bigger than God. No matter your circumstances, there will be a way out. There will be a way out. And you just know within your heart that this situation is just temporary. It's temporary. But in the midst of going through it, it seems like a lifetime. It seems like a lifetime. I remember, I'm going to share this before I go. I remember I was in a dark place, and I remember I was homeless. And I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I couldn't see it. And some nights I would pray, and some nights I cried, and I just was like, God, please. Weeks turned to months, several months, and day by day, I know this change was coming. It didn't happen when I wanted to, but I saw things slowly falling into place. And I began to find a job, and I began to find a place to live slowly. But in the midst of it, I wasn't trying to hear none of that. I wasn't trying to hear it. I'm like, I'm hurting. I'm struggling. I wasn't trying to hear all that in the midst of it. But when things started working in my favor, all I could do was thank God. And now that I think about it, I don't even think I thanked God at the time. I think I wrote about it verbally, get on my knees and pray and say, thank God. God, thank you, God. I'm saying it now. I remember writing something and I said, but God, thank you for that. You carried me through that situation. And I know that it was really hard. Could you imagine your entire life? For many of us, some people haven't been homeless, but I have. And I'm going to share this and I'm out of here. Can you imagine your whole life having a place to go? You come home, go to bed, take a shower. Every day of your life from your existence, you have that. And then at a blink of an eye, it's stripped from you. Now you have nowhere to go. Now you are walking around with a duffel bag with your things on it on the bus, trying to figure out what's your next step. Where you gonna go? Where you gonna spend the night? You feel me? Like it was crazy. But I had to believe in something. And that was the only thing that carried me through. But thank y'all for listening to the Genuine Care Podcast. 216. I'll see y'all next week. All right. Peace out.